Hi everyone, Ilia and Kane here, and today we will be talking about cloud cost management, of course. So I will go ahead and introduce Kane. Kane will hopefully introduce myself, and then we will move to some nice content. Well, Kane is with us all the way from New York with Usage.ai, which is an amazing company helping organizations to save actually quite a lot of money with rate optimization, basically getting all those reserved instances to real work.
Yeah, and thank you, Ilia. The same can be said of Cloudthread. You guys, if we're on the East Coast, Cloudthread is on the West Coast. They're a beautiful San Francisco-based company, and just really providing visibility into cloud costs with a specific focus on unit economics and cloud cost efficiency for engineering teams. So I love working with them, and they have a beautiful product, beautiful team, and I'm biased. I like Ilia a lot.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for the warm words. Yeah, and now let's get to actual business. So
let's do it.
Yeah, as I said, Usage.ai are really focused on rate optimization, and Cloudthread is focused on bringing visibility into your cloud costs. If you think about FinOps framework here, right, inform, optimize, operate, Cloudthread is really about inform and operate, and Usage.ai is all about optimize, especially on the rate optimization side. And, if you think about it as a puzzle, this seems like, kind of like the good whole picture for any great FinOps practice. Obviously, you want to have one at your company to save some money, right? Which is really important to, current times. And that's what we want to talk about today. We thought it will be like a really great idea to have this joint talk and just cover capabilities of Cloudthread and capabilities of Usage.ai and how they can contribute to each other, basically, right? How they can work in tandem for your benefit. Anything I missed, Ken?
No, that's exactly it. Just really Cloudthread and Usage, just a quick 1-2 punch to either complement your existing FinOps practice or help jumpstart it entirely. And with that, I'll allow Ilia to segue into the Cloudthread portion, because to understand what you can optimize, first, it would help to have visibility on it. And that is Ilia's wheelhouse. So without further ado, I'll let him take over.
Okay, thank you, Kane. Yeah, so instead of talking too much, let's just dive right into the demo. Yeah, let me share the screen here.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we are. Kane, let me know if you can see my screen.
I can see it. We're all good.
Perfect. Awesome. So here we are. This is the first big portion of Cloudthread functionality, which we call cost transparency, and it is focused on basically high-level insights into cloud spend, as well, of course, an ability to drill in and get to the root cause of any cost issue you might have. And you can see here it's a very, minimalistic kind of clean interface, specifically for engineering stakeholders. So we don't put here too many bells and whistles. Just total costs against previous period cost chart, then the breakdown of the total costs, where you can do the breakdown all the way by the resource level. We can get really granular here, and you can also do the drill down, right? For example, from an account level, you can drill down all the way to the region and down to the resource. So that's very convenient way to do root cause analysis. And finally, we have this thing we call Tag Analyzer. This is a very convenient interface to interact with your costs, at tag level. Everybody, in our domain knows that, it is important to have good tech coverage, right? And if you have it, right, if you have that foundation, then this interface will be very helpful for you to analyze your costs. Basically, you can see the distribution of costs for a given tech key by the tag value and interact with it really easily. So this is that cost transparency part. And the second big part is about unit metrics. We call it unit economics. And it is basically our major focus. So based on our integrations with your data warehouses, with your applications, basically logs, as well as with cloud billing data, we produce a lot of metrics for you out of the box. That means that you have this thing called unit metrics library, where you're exposed to hundreds of different metrics that we pre-calculate. Of course, that can be like a bit like puzzling, right? But we also recommend you what makes sense for your workflows. And the key here is to find the right metric that moves the needle, on business side, but is also understood by your engineering stakeholders, so that you can set good KPIs, based on this metric. A part of these pre-calculated metrics, we obviously give you an ability to construct your own metrics, of choice, with a pretty powerful interface where, you can basically build any metric you want, changing numerator and denominator data.
Wow, and I mean, Redshift, I know that's a big priority right now, but out of the hundreds of out-of-the-box metrics that you mentioned, is there a particular one that you at Cloudthread recommend as kind of vital? I know, depending on the company, different metrics apply or have more emphasis on being more importance. But what is one you kind of recommend most companies look at, in a general sense? Like, what's the most important one that Cloudthread can give visibility for?
This is the great question, Ken. I would say that there is no one metric to rule them all. And this is a very important fact that, that it is very important to have that in mind. At least, for example, we try to have that metric, cost per ride, and that was not the right approach. And for the context, I used to work with cloud cost management at Lyft before starting Cloudthread. So basically, you need to find the unit metric that works specifically for you, and sometimes specifically for the team, right, within your organization. So, and each organization will have, different setup, different metrics, and different goals. That's why we have this flexible interface and calculate so many metrics. But if I were to give you a real example of the metric, one of our clients had a really great success with the metric, basically ELB requests, all right, cost per ELB request, right? And they calculated that metric for their teams, right? And what they did was not very intuitive at the first glance. They got the total cost for the company and divided it by ELB requests, right? And that was distributed by teams. So ELB request for backend team, like here, right? Or ELB request for data team. And turned out that it was a really great proxy of business activity of the company, right? And something that was very close to each team, right? Because they could see how people interact, with the part of the product that they manage. And it started to move the needle, basically. As a KPI, it was very successful, and tracking it uncovered a lot of, cost spikes, produced, right behaviors. So at the end, it saved, a lot of money for our clients, which was really great.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds, I have no words. I'm speechless. Those are, if I do say so. I like the red and blue. I like the contrast there. It's just very readable to me, just on this end.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, like we worked on the UI to make it like very clean. And as the like final point, I want to say that around all this, we have a great like reporting and alerting functionality so that all the insights are like can be delivered in a concise manner to the actual stakeholders and can be acted upon, which is very important. So I would stop speaking right now, and I'm very curious to see what Usage.ai looks like.
Thank you for the segue, and I would love to show you and the viewers what we do here at Usage. Let me fiddle with Zoom and share my screen. All right, can you see this okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, I have to move the Zoom window. It's covering my my view of the screens. So anyways, without further ado, this is the Usage experience. So to kind of arrive at the table that you see here before you, which is all of your EC2 workloads that are running independent of a current savings plan or reserved instance. Effectively, it is uncovered spend. We make recommendations to cover those with what we call our Flex RIs, which available through AWS are 3-year, no upfront RIs. But what Usage does is we bundle them with a buyback guarantee. So we're contractually obligated to buy them back at any time. So what we're unlocking for our customers is the value of a 3-year RI, which is 57% off of the like premium on-demand rate, which is the default way you can run your workloads. But we're supplying that to you without the need for a 3-year contract. And how we're able to do that is using the AWS RI marketplace. We're able to buy and sell and exchange. We really broker an exchange of the remainder of these RI commitments. So if you want to think about it, we're like the Airbnb of cloud contracts. It's almost like a timeshare, hot potato with RI commitments, just unlocking the value again for it, like allowing smaller customers to get really deals reserved for people like enterprise customers who have very confident compute patterns. And that's kind of what you see in the savings for you. So to get to this dashboard, what you need to do is when you log into Usage, you're immediately greeted with this screen. And this is where we say add an account nickname. So we support as many AWS accounts as your organization is, 1 or 70, it doesn't matter. We can accommodate them all. So the first step is to connect. This first step to connecting is to create an IAM policy. And so you just copy and paste this policy on your AWS JSON tab, the IAM policy page. Next, you create a role. And after that, you paste the role ARN. So I know lengthy setup, but after that, you get all of your savings here ahead of you. And so what Usage identified is, so in this demonstration, this customer has already approved $142,000 worth of savings. You might wonder, how did they do that? And even more, how are they able to approve $71,000 worth of new savings? And I'll show you just by clicking the status arrow, we'll filter and we'll see all of the recommendations that are pending approval. So for instance, we have an R5.4x large cluster of 2 running in US East 1, and you would like to save on them. What you can do on the customer side is click that action box, head down to approve, click approve, and that is, you can see that the status flipped, and now you're saving on that cluster. So what happens is on the back end, Usage goes and buys that 3-year RI from AWS, covers that workload, and of course bundles it with that buyback guarantee. So you're not beholden to paying out the duration of that commitment. And so everything we do is, oh, I'm sorry, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, is it really risk-free? So basically you're not stuck with those RIs, right?
In no capacity, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, with the buyback guarantee, and it's an ironclad agreement between Usage and our customers, because outside of that, there would be no reason to use Usage. You would just use the RI marketplace. But what we've unlocked, we've almost optimized that experience, because on the RI marketplace, imagine there's a lag period between when you list something and when it's sold. With Usage, we guarantee a buyer immediately, in any event, Usage will be the one who will take on that contract. In the event we can't immediately pair it with one of our customers and find an opening. But the fluidity of these RI commitments it's incredibly fluid. So we're able to broker the exchange in real time. And the engine pairs all of these automatically. So opening here, underutilized commitment here, and the swap is made. And so to kind of speak on the more set and forget functionality, it's no secret EC2 isn't the most important thing, but there are still a lot of savings to unlock there. But typically a lot of engineering teams are focusing on RDS, Redshift, other things Cloudthread would show you need to optimize on. And EC2, it's kind of simple, but tedious. So, and we understand that, but there's so much you can unlock with usage savings wise. And so if you don't want to kind of spend a lot of time on EC2, we recommend the autopilot functionality. So what autopilot does is there's a brief text blurb here, but it approves all of your current recommendations and new recommendations as they become available. Because everyone knows compute environments can be dynamic. You can be constantly, stopping servers, adding new ones, and just scaling your compute upwards. And if you don't want to have to come back to the dashboard and approve them line by line every day as they become available, we recommend the autopilot mode. And to, again, get to receive $61,000 in annual EC2 savings, all you have to do is click enable, confirm, the status flipped, and now this customer will be saving $213,000 on their EC2 compute. And that is,
And this is like super impressive. Yeah, sorry for chiming in, but I can say that somebody who has been doing RI management at Electronic Arts and at Lyft. I mean, if I had something like this back then, that would have been, a tremendous advantage and would have unlocked like so much time for other things. In fact, at Lyft, the team built, something similar to Usage.ai because that was a necessity, right? You need to manage that fleet, right? You need to swap things around to be saving money, right? And to run your infrastructure, as efficient as possible in terms of like rate optimization. Wow, I mean, that is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, personally, every time I run or show the demo, it still brings a little bit of a tear to my eye. I get choked up with how much I love this dashboard. And just really our guiding philosophy is simplicity. So from the sign up to savings, the whole experience can be done in 5 minutes. And I guess to go a little further to kind of show you another, some more bells and whistles, if you will. So all of these approved RIs, you can see reflected here in the plans area. And if you have any existing RIs or savings plans, the recommendations we make aren't redundant. So we're not going to cover something recommend something that's already covered by a savings plan or RI. And you can kind of see a glimpse of that in our instant search feature. So you can see, for instance, this T3 medium, it's recommended we reserve it. For this T2 micro, it's not recommended because the instance is currently offline. And that is pretty much, and that kind of informs our risk modeling. We're not going to recommend an RI for something that's terminated. And with like the recommendation engine, it looks for 24 hours of continuous compute usage. So in that capacity, like say, for instance, a heavy GPU type instance that maybe runs an hour out of each day, that doesn't qualify for our engine to associate a 3-year RI on it. And to go through a little bit of the more nice to have admin settings, you can add as many users as you need. You can get the whole team in here. And integrations, if you have a multi AWS environment, that you can see 4 here. You can just add a new account.
If you have like hundreds of AWS accounts, it's not a problem.
Not a problem.
Wow. Okay, that's really good to know. That's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, one central dashboard is the same walkthrough as we saw. And to go a little further, to kind of show how you can determine which account has what amount of savings and where, you can use this drop-down menu to kind of filter your table of your table view. So if we want to see, it looks like this demo user has a significant amount of savings in it. And it's just a quick way to fiddle around and just filter through recommendations. But that is the usage experience. It's deceptively simple, but that's the way we built it, just to get in, get out, get EC2 squared away, to save, really money, but most importantly, excuse me, time just in the cloud. Because time is money in EC2. If it can be automated, why wouldn't you automate it? And that's what we've effectively built here.
I mean, that's exactly right. As I already said, in my practice, right, when I used to be a FinOps practitioner myself, this was an essential thing, and we were building something like this internally every time. Having this out of the box is just truly amazing, right? Especially with no risk, because you build it internally and you still have risk, right? I mean, you still need to go to marketplace and sell it to somebody. And here, I mean, that's my favorite part, no risk piece, set and forget, no risk, savings. What else do you need, right? I mean, that is great. And for rate optimization on EC2, Usage.ai seems like it's like everything you need, right? And for other things out there, like you can have Cloudthread, right, to monitor things for you. You also have like the recommendation engine where we track like underutilization for other services, right, and in general give you visibility in what's going on and alert you. Basically, you can be updated on other part of infrastructure as well. So that's why we think, right, that Cloudthread and Usage.ai can be paired really well for like any modern FinOps practice. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. Like just harkening back to the earlier point that we made, either to complement your current FinOps journey or to help you take that first step in understanding the cloud. That visibility and then just see the savings in action. That is effectively what you can achieve with Cloudthread and Usage.
Cool. Okay. Thank you, Ken. It was a pleasure. I learned a lot today. And
same here.
Yeah. Okay. See you around.